Tullis, Stephen, and Tiffany. Okay. So, this is Reykjavik. Reykjavik is the capital of Iceland, and it is a city that we put a lot of effort and knowledge and put a lot of effort into researching because of its vast archaeological depth in terms of the history it keeps within its borders or its boundary lines. And so, in Reykjavik, you might wonder, why would any of y'all care? We all live in Texas, we don't live in Iceland, so why would you care about Reykjavik? Well, as all of y'all know, now by now hopefully, is that we all have Scandinavian blood in us. And so, because of that, this is about our ancestry and the impact this town had on our ancestors' culture and our ancestors' history. And so, Reykjavik is a town we put a lot of effort into researching because of its archaeological significance. Specifically, we're talking about two sites, Larkjargata and Aðalstræti. So, first of all, why do we pick Reykjavik to be the town that we focus on? Well, as you can see, this stuff, these definitions and these words are provided by Ida Feltendel and Ascoli, which is what a majority of these excavated sites are Viking lodges, where everybody with the same last name would live. And this is an ancient Reykjavik cemetery that was excavated by Ola in the 1960s. This photo was taken by Hildur Getsiddurit, and he took these photos, and he reported that over 8 fully complete skeletons were excavated. And the cemetery was built around circa 1218. Another reason why we look at Reykjavik is because Reykjavik is the oldest town in Iceland. According to Inga Hilja, in 800 or circa 880, Artadur came to Iceland and he landed in Reykjavik. And when he landed, he named the area Reykjavik, and that became the capital of the country as well as the biggest city in the country. Now, to really hammer on this point, we're going to look at the two specific sites I mentioned earlier. So first, Larkjargata. So these photos are both from Dr. Megan Hicks. So this is a photo of people inside of the Skori looking at the different floor remnants, and then this is a diagram she made. The area is outlined in black are where bones are. And so the significance of the bones, that of the several hundred, about 46% of them were burned, which according to Dr. Hicks implies that they were used in either cooking or used as fuel. Another really interesting thing about Larkjargata was the amount of walrus bones we found. Walrus bones are used to make ivory, which is a major export from Iceland. Another just important thing about the town. So, another site we're going to look at is Aðalstræti. Aðalstræti is the largest and most complete skoli known to exist. They were both structures were assumed to exist or have been constructed from around the same time, circa 900, 1000 AD. And here's a photo from inside the museum that they constructed. You can see the flooring, the walls. Here's a diagram. These photos were provided by H.M. Roberts, and these photos allow for us to see into what you might imagine the skoli looking like. As you can see, it's quite large. This interesting thing about this skoli, not only about the size, but also was its proximity to Larkjargata. So both of them are located in downtown Reykjavik and are very close together, which makes anthropologists and archaeologists assume that the two structures were a part of the same ancient city. That, in correlation with the cemetery, gives you the picture of a big, giant, ancient Reykjavik city that had a significance on the surrounding countries and nations. So, in conclusion, Reykjavik is an important city because, as the most major city in Iceland since its founding, it has multiple significant archaeological sites and has linkage to major Scandinavian history. And so I hope you leave this speech at least a little bit more insightful and a little bit more curious about our ancestors in Scandinavia. So, Q&A.
Were those archaeological sites separate cities, or were they part of Reykjavik?
So both of them were a part of the assumed ancient Reykjavik. So both of them were within a short distance of each other. They were both located in downtown Reykjavik, and so they're assumed to have been from the same area. And another thing to mention, sorry, probably should have mentioned this earlier. This was provided by the curators at Söðurgata, which was a museum in Reykjavik, and Dr. Hicks had donated some of her findings to them. It's a collection of artifacts and relics from ancient Reykjavik and Iceland that help give us knowledge about the country. So, any other questions?